Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Chris from Hillside Drones. We're going to be going through some of my coastal footage that I gathered in northeast England over the course of 2025. The reason I wanted to do this was I get a lot of messages and things asking for help and how have I done this, how have I done that. So I thought it'd be a good idea just to put all of the coastal footage into one place and then, just talk through what we did, where we were and how we did it really. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a like, helps my channel grow. I use a variety of cameras. I've got two drones, the Mini 4 Pro DJI and the DJI Avata 2 FPV drone. You can see it there in my bag, and this video is going to have a mixture of both drones in. I've got a DJI Action Pro 5 there, which I just use for the odd bits here and there. I'm still sort of trying to adapt to that myself. So, without further ado, let's get this drone in the air, and we'll start our journey. We start in the north end of my journey in Saltburn. This was the very early spring on the northeast English coast, heading towards the cliffs of Saltburn, quite a popular little town. This is filmed on the DJI Mini 4 Pro very early on the morning. I was suffering a little bit of overexposure here. It's very difficult to film sunrises, I find. The light's changing continuously, so it's hard to get the settings right when you're filming everything in manual. But I absolutely love this shot. It's one of my favourite shots of the year. It's just a shame it's a little bit too overexposed in the background there, but hey ho, you can't have everything. I actually filmed this. I just finished a night shift, worked 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. I was on my way home, and it was just a stunning morning, as you can see. And I thought, I've got to get the drone up. I've got to get it up. So I flew home, got the drone, went straight back out again, straight back down to the coast near my house. This is only 5 minutes from my home. But a couple of weeks after this, as summer started, I managed to get the drone after weeks of tracking them via WhatsApp groups and websites. I managed to get the drone over a large pod of dolphins just off these cliffs here, literally meters just where you can see there in that water. And it was one of my favourite shoots of 2025. It was my favourite capture. Spent months and months trying to capture these dolphins, and I was bouncing backwards and forwards between this town here, that's Saltburn Pier, and the village on the horizon that you can just see up the beach mast. And the dolphins used to appear and disappear regularly on a daily basis. We have a lot of dolphins and whales up here, a lot more than we used to. So I finally caught up with them after months, and I got the drone out and I literally flew it as quick as I could towards this pod of dolphins. And if I was 5 minutes earlier, I would have caught them circling a body border. But where we are now, where we catch up with them, they're just moved away from this bodyboarder, I was devastated. But this is one of my favourite captures of 2025. Gorgeous opening shots. There's babies there, the little grey one on the left with its mum or its dad playing, swimming upside down, and I was trying so hard to keep the drone steady, and I didn't want to disturb them obviously, so I was trying to keep as close to them as I could, but far enough away so I didn't upset them or bother them. This was filmed on the DJI Mini 4 Pro. Everything in manual. So I had an ND filter 16 on because I was pointing down at the water, so there wasn't a lot of light. So I didn't need a higher filter. All my other settings were in manual. And we had, what did we have? We had 30 frames a second locked in. Shutter was set to 1/160. Using the industry standard 180-degree rule, so shooting in 30 frames per second, your shutter speed should be double your frames. So 30 frames per second, shutter set to 1/60. My white balance was locked in. I normally have it locked in around 54,000 Kelvin. And ISO, I always try to keep that locked in as low as possible. I think it was about locked in around 100 here, 100 to 200. I never normally go higher than that. I love that shot. It's my favourite bit. Coming to the surface and synchronisation. Bye bye Dolphins. See you next year. We move a bit further south down the coast now. Come to the little village of Skinning Grove. It's a tiny little fishing village with some heavy industry, steel making plants I believe next to it. Popular with walkers. First time I'd been here actually, and this was actually in England. This was the very first day of summer. I checked the weather, it was supposed to be glorious. I headed out. I wanted to capture some of the scenery and it was boiling. You can see the leaves haven't even come out on the trees there, but this was red hot, and I'm just sat at the end of that jetty there. You can probably see me if you look down there. I am just going over me now. Absolutely gorgeous beaches. When I'd finished the shoot, the top of my head was so burnt. Trying to change it up a bit and get some top-down shots. By the way, doing the sound effects for this as well, you've got to bear in mind that the drone doesn't record any sound because all you'd pick up is the propellers. So all of the sounds you're hearing, I've added that myself. I use Artlist. That's where I get all my sound effects and music from. Every sound, every piece of music I've meticulously added. Another gorgeous shot. We're over to the Avata 2 now, FPV. Trying to get full speed past the jetty. I'm still sat there at the end. I love that shot. I was getting quite a lot of attention at one point. I had a whole party of school kids sat watching me, and I had to bring the drone in and land it so they could all have a look at it and watch it take off and land and whatnot. I always like to try and get out the way though when I'm flying my drones. I don't like to bother people. I don't like a lot of people sort of staring and watching. Distracting. I always like to keep my top down centralised as well. Nice and centre in the screen. Back over the Avata 2. I like to do a bit of cliff surfing right along the edge of the cliff to try and get the drone a bit wet. Makes for a good shot. Waves weren't quite big enough, but nearly got it wet. Move a bit further south now, away from Skinning Grove. These cliffs are immense. They make for some good dramatic shots. I love that shot as well. Gorgeous landscape shot. Lots of birds as well, gotta watch out for them. We're back to the Mini 4 Pro as well. Any of the slow shots like this, all on the Mini 4 Pro, all in manual settings using ND filters. So we're heading a bit further down the coast to Staithes Village, which is what you can see just there in front of you. There's actually a large pod of minke whales that live just here, I've been informed, just off this coast, about 3 miles out. Sleep here, and they start here every morning and head further down the coast, and I've been trying to film them for 18 months. I will get them next year. Even if I have to rent a boat, literally just off that coast there, 3 miles out. There's a large pod of whales, mink, just in that sea, and I will get them. I've even tried to rent a boat, but I was a bit too late in the season last summer, so I might try again this summer. It's Cleveland Potash Mine, I think one of the second deepest in the world. There's a solar neutrino detector at the bottom of it, I believe, or there used to be. Not many of them in the world. To monitor particles coming out of the sun. I don't want to bore you with that though. It's too technical. I love space science. It's what I did at university, but I won't bore you with that. This is Staithes Harbour. I have another standalone video for this over on my YouTube channel. I spent the day here filming. I had to nip back the next day, get a bit more footage. There's another Facebooker here called Fetch King, and he's got a large following. He's recently had a video, I think it's passed about 51 million views, and Aussie Man Reviews did a copy of it where he spoke over it, you know who I mean, and yeah, he did very well. Have a look at him on Facebook, Fetch King. Salt burns up past them cliffs on the horizon. That was looking north. Many a morning I've stood on them cliff edges over on the horizon trying to get a glimpse of the whales at sunrise. Not yet. I will. We're going to jump to the Avata 2 again for an action shot. Always does some cool footage. Unfortunately, wind is not its friend, even a slight breeze. Further south, down the northeast English coast. Another gorgeous shot, nice wide landscape. Heading a bit further south towards the little village of Brunswick Bay. Still early in the summer, you can see we haven't got any of the leaves on the trees yet. Try and kept it nice and chronological, like working through the seasons. This is a very popular little village. Get a lot of walkers coming here. This is the first time I've been since I was about 5, bearing in mind I'm in my 40s. This beach gets a lot busier in summertime. Got to go up them steps next summer, see where they go. In the background there, that's Kettleness Village Mine sticking out into the sea. We're going to go there next. That's Kettleness Village. So there used to be another village here right on the cliff edge which fell into the sea. We'll see the remains of that soon. So you can see now we've got a lot more greenery. We're moving further into summer. Let's jump to the Avata 2 and move to the mine. So I had the day off, my wife was at work, the kids were at school. I wanted to go out and film early summer and I had no idea where to go. I just looked at Google Maps, picked this place out, never been here before. It's 20 minutes down the road from my house. I parked up in that little village up on the cliffs there on the right, and then I walked down and stood on the top of this mine and just started filming with both drones. Captured some dramatic landscapes. This is an old alum mine from around 1850, I think, but don't quote me on that. There's me, just for a rough idea of size. I was hoping to try and catch some dolphins as well, but that's the remaining remains of one of the last houses that fell into the sea in around 1850. Crazy. You think someone used to live there over 100 years ago, used to walk down them steps to go to the shop and live their life. I think they're long gone and the house remains, the house is still being looked at. I love this shot. The sea is gorgeous. That, I found that really unique, but I later found out, I thought that was natural, but they're actually carved in by man for ships to dock for the mine. I always thought it looked like a giant hand, but I love the waves sweeping over them. I loved that shot as well. It's a gorgeous shot. See how big the outcrop is. There's the remains of the house on the left. That's looking further south towards a village called Sands End and then Whitby. We're going to skip Sands End. I'm going to head straight to Whitby. Hay fever on this day was absolutely killing me. I couldn't see a thing from the fields at the top of them cliffs full of corn and poppies and whatnot. My eyes were streaming all day. It was the worst day I'd had the entire year for hay fever. I'm going to start moving towards Whitby. So Whitby's just on the horizon there. And Whitby is a very popular town in northeast England. Very busy. Always something going on. One of my favourite places to film. I've got lots of videos on my YouTube channel here. This is Whitby, and that's Whitby Abbey on the top of the hill. Whitby Harbour there on the right. And these always have a lot of things going on. It's always packed in the summer. They have Whitby Goth Weekend, which has a Facebook page. It's all steampunk and cosplay. And they do Krampus, Christmas Krampus runs, where everyone dresses up. There's always something going on in Whitby, and it's always packed. Let's have a closer look. Move into Whitby. Back to the Mini 4 Pro as well. ND filter, I think we're using 32 here. Don't really like to go any higher than that because I find you get a little sensor noise if you filter it too much. All settings locked in, ISO 100, white balance 54,000. What else we got? 30 frames a second, shutter 1/160. There's my daughter. Didn't tell her to stand there and look natural, honest. I love that shot. Get a lot of tourist boats coming and going in Whitby Harbour. This was filmed during the Whitby Regatta, which happens every year towards the sort of third quarter of summer. Absolutely packed for 4 days. They have fireworks, fun fairs, all sorts going on. Using quad bikes. Love that shot. Perfectly timed. Beach is gorgeous. This day, by the way, when I filmed this, was probably the peak of summer. The water's like glass. Absolutely boiling. Stunning day. There's the Whitby wheel. It's not normally there. We'll come back to that in a minute. And there's Whitby Abbey, very famous. I've got several videos of the Abbey on my YouTube channel and Facebook page. They light it up every Halloween for a couple of days. I've got one of the videos of it lit up. Gets a lot of visitors, a lot of attention. Check out the other video over on the channel for that. I did some reels, some short reels for it as well. They're on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube from this year. They look gorgeous. So that's Whitby Wheel. It's not normally there. They just brought it this year for 1 month. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it upset a few of the locals because it just appeared overnight and no one really knew about it coming. Seemed quite popular though. And it's been dismantled and moved on now. Might come back next year, who knows. There's another good YouTuber, Facebooker in Whitby, who I follow. the Whitby photographer. Check him out. That's one of the tourist boats coming and going. The Whitby photographer's got a lot of followers on YouTube, Facebook, posts regularly, and he does some good posts. He's quite a funny guy. I think there's a couple of them that do it. This was one of the boat races. I think it was the girls under 16. I'm not 100%. Just from Facebook comments when I posted some shorts. This was during the Whitby regatta. I didn't want to get too close and put people off while I went racing. Again, I'm not one of these people that likes to bother people with my drone. I just like to get some cool shots. You see, if you look for Whitby on the internet, you get a lot of pictures of that harbour. That's a stunning shot right there, I think, with the abbey on the hill on the left. Top down on the Mini 4 Pro. Again, didn't want to get too close to the boat races. Coming into the final leg of the race. And that's me and my daughter. Later in the afternoon, just as the sun starts going down. I think we were here until 11 PM, me and my daughter, wandering around trying to find good shots. We actually came on the evening to try and get the Dolphins, but sadly I didn't find any. We got some good shots. There was actually a concert going on, an outdoor concert at the Abbey here, which I didn't even know about at the time, so this was purely coincidental. Again, didn't want to get too close. Cannot fly over a crowd with a drone, that's a big no-no. There's my daughter. Didn't tell her to walk up there and look natural. Just happened to catch her walking up there looking natural, honest. I think that's the Summer Queen, that's my daughter's favourite boat. My daughter's called Summer. Goes out every evening. The sunset watching, dolphin watching. Yeah, Summer Queen. I've been on that several times. I thought if I come close enough I might have some dolphins circling, but I didn't see any. That was a gorgeous shot as well. I do have another video, I think it's the Whitby Regatta one, and it has all of this footage on from 3 or 4 days of the regatta and the fireworks and everything. Check that out, that's a good video. A little bit of editing there with the speed. Love that shot. This is the About 2. There's my daughter on the bridge. There's me on the left. This sunset, by the way, for this day was glorious. Just got better and better. The colours were gorgeous. It's got more and more orange. There's the Summer Queen out to sea. Love that shot. There's another YouTuber who does a lot of work in Whitby called on Facebook, and UAV 360. They got a viral video from that lighthouse last summer, the sun going down. Check them out on Facebook, UAV 360. I got some really good still shots of this sunset as well. I think they're on my Facebook page. Well, that was just a glorious shot right there. I think one of my favourite pictures, still shots of the year, was taken that day. This was the Whitby Regatta. I think this was the final night. The fun fair set up along the pier and up on the top cliffs there on the right. And this is all in my Whitby Regatta video on YouTube, and I got some really nice shots with the Mini 4 Pro. And I captured the end of the show fireworks as well. And if you do watch that, watch out for the little explosion right at the end of the fireworks display. I don't think anyone was 100% sure if that was supposed to happen or was an accident. As the last firework goes off, there's a rather large ball of fire where the fireworks are all coming from. I never got to find out if that was supposed to happen or not. So check that out. It's my Whitby Regatta video. got to be careful filming with a Mini 4 Pro during night time. Small sensor can produce a lot of sensor noise where it just looks cloudy. You know, I mean, I'm no expert. I class myself more intermediate. I like to help out people who are sort of just getting into it. I love that shot, but you get a lot of sensor noise in low light. The image can look a bit cloudy and not very clear. It's quite difficult to get nighttime shots. But the mini series does have a good night mode. Moving on now, a bit further into the summer. Moving further down the cliffs past Whitby Abbey, and this is the Avata 2. And just down on the bottom of the cliffs, just to your left there, there's a shipwreck that I came across. First time I'd seen it this day, didn't even know it was there. It's quite well known to the locals. I'm going to do some more with this next summer. You can only see it at low tide, and this was the peak of low tide, and that's it there in the bottom, in the middle. And that's I believe it's called the Greta Block, which I think in 1930s they brought it here to scuttle it, to take it out to sea and sink it. It was made of concrete because there wasn't enough metals to make a ship during the war. But as we were trying to take it out to scuttle it, it actually got stuck on the rocks and fell apart. So they tried to dynamite it to get rid of it, and this is what remains of it. But this was a good little find. I think next year I'm going to do some more footage with this and the Avata. It's actually quite sizable as well when you see people on it. Just look at that water. It's not the best tropical water, but it is glorious, and that day was gorgeous. Just everything was just blue. The sun was boiling. There's another shipwreck just up the beach in front of us, but I haven't seen that one yet. Moving a bit further down the coast, this is Saltwick Bay. I believe there's another shipwreck here, which I'll find next summer. Still with the DJI Mini 4 Pro. Some good rock formations here, which I had a good fly around. So this is a bit later in the year now. Weather's starting to change. Tide's coming. There's a large caravan site just on the top of the cliffs here. There's Whitby Abbey over on the far right. Obviously you've got to bear in mind all the bird sounds I've added. It's very difficult. Back to the Avata 2. Another little cliff surf. Let's see if we can get this drone wet. Not today. Try either next time. I actually went to this to the manager of this site and asked his permission if I could film around the site and down on the bench there. Don't think I needed to be honest, but again, I do not like bothering people if I can help it. He was fine with it. I had to get some footage of that rock sticking out the water there. It looks like a giant submarine. Let's get the Avata over there. I actually found it quite spooky. I'm not a fan of the deep sea. It scares me. You don't know what's under there. Love that shot. This was the Mini 4 Pro. We're gonna have to come back here, I think, next summer when the tide's out, get on top of that, get some more footage. Move further down the coast, and I think we're going to head to Scarborough next, which is another very big, very busy town, similar to Whitby. I think we're going to move a bit further back in time, back into the peak of summer again. And I came down here on 4 separate occasions because they get a lot of dolphin activity here. But I just love that opening shot with the Mini 4 Pro. It's got James Bond Casino Royale written all over it. I think it could have done with being edited to be just a little bit darker. This video is all with my own colour grading as well, by the way. I use CapCut Pro, which I pay for. It's not much. Bought it in the Boxing Day sales. It was like £130 for the whole year. Well worth it. I just followed this boat in as they approached Scarborough Harbour. It was actually an old replica of an old galleon from I think about the 15th century. I can't remember what it was called now. And it was docked here. I came down and filmed it. You can see it in the background there. You'll get a closer look in a minute. Big black ship docked, and it was sailed all over the world so people could have a look at it. Neo Victoria, something like that it was called. That's one of the tourist pirate ships that go out like every hour or two. I was hoping to get some dolphins around this. I love that shot as well. I love the colour of the sea. But they get a lot of whales here and a lot of dolphins. And I came down for 4 days straight and never saw a single piece of life. Never saw a dolphin, never saw a seal or a whale. But every time I got home, there was always sightings all over Facebook just after I'd left. Got a good photo of that fishing boat to the left there and his nets over on my Facebook page from high above. It's a good little, one of my favourite pictures of the year. It's over on my Facebook somewhere, in my pictures. All of my social media, by the way, is all under the name Hillside Drones. All has the same profile photograph. Scarborough has a speedboat ride as well that comes out of this harbour, and I was trying to chase them a few times, get some good action shots, but the wind was always against me. I think this one was done with the Mini 4 Pro though. Couldn't quite keep up with him with the Mini 4 Pro. Didn't have time to bring it back though and swap to the Avata, which would have done a good job. I'll get him next year. I love that shot. I got a good short reel for that, which is over on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. All the sound edited by me, added by me, from artist.io. Well worth it if you make a lot of videos. Back to the harbour. I'm actually sat on the jetty just below, straight below you there where them rocks are, but a little bit further to the right. Might be able to see me in a minute. Just in that bottom right hand corner. I got some major sunburn filming these videos. There's the Neo Victoria. I think that's what it's called. Apologies if I've got it wrong. There's some still shots of it over on my Facebook page. If you come to the northeast, Scarborough, Whitby, very good places to visit. There's the Neo Victoria. Let's have a look at the beach. Packed. Gorgeous beach. Very popular. I love that shot as well. One of my favourite beach shots of the year. Another Whitby wheel, Scarborough wheel in the background. I don't think it's the same one. Came across this fella while I was bringing the drone home. I'm just sat to the right off camera. So I'll get a little shot of him. Didn't want to bother him, so I didn't want to get too close. The old fella's just chilling out, all on his own in the water. What a life. Look at the colour of that water, gorgeous. Just chilling out again. What I need is some dolphins to just start circling these, maybe next year. I love my little Mini 4 Pro, top down shoots, gentle little bit of rotation, all manually done. I never use any automatic movements, any master shots, everything's always manual with just really steady hands. And I set up a shot, and then when I edit it, I edit out the junk movement at the beginning and the junk movement at the end, and just keep the nice still line of movement in the middle. I love that shot. Leaving Scarborough Harbour off over the horizon. Don't know who that guy is, but it was perfect place at the perfect time. Coming to the end of summer now, weather's starting to change. This was a gorgeous morning. It's cold, but the mist, I had to get out and film this. This doesn't happen often. We're back at Salburn where we started. There's Salburn Pier where the video started. But this mist like this, maybe 3 times a year, you'll get this first thing on a morning. And when it sweeps over Salburn Cliffs, which is called Hun Cliff like this, you got to get out and get it. Makes for absolutely amazing photographs and video. Look at that. Beautiful. ND filter 16, all in manual, same settings as before. Same settings used on the Avata in all the mass shoots, ND filters, 30 frames a second. I love the church just sticking out in the mist there in the middle. Glorious. And that brings us to the end of my little coastal tour and all of my 2025 coastal footage. Gorgeous shot. Thanks for watching. We're coming to the end of our journey, and I'm going to hopefully do this more this year. Look at that shot. Stunning. Hand catching the Mini 4 Pro, dead easy. Put it in sports mode, put your hand under it, hold down, flip it upside down, thinks it's crashed and it trips the motors. Instant stop. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a like, helps my channel grow. Thanks for watching. See you next time.